computer. Can I? I can do it. Okay. So I'm going to record this so that we can upload it. Um, okay, so hello everybody. I'm Nikki in Germany, and I run book fairs from stock. I always have done, and this is what I do, and this is what I'm quite good at. And I know that a lot of you, well, the whole thing is for Usborne now. They're really pushing the whole book fair, working with schools much more than they used to, and I think a lot more people run book fairs from stock now as well. Hi Maria, I've just pressed record, okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, everybody.
So I think a lot more people are running book fairs from stock. So I just thought I would put together all my random notes onto a PowerPoint, and I'm just going to whiz through it really quickly. I'm sure I've got no idea how long this will take, but we'll go anyway. So you've got a school book fair, okay, and now you want to know where to start, how to start. Okay, and everybody's different, and this is what I do. And I think the main thing is that at the bottom is your book fair, and you need to run it how you feel most comfortable. Okay. Take into account what the school want, and if they say, "Oh, so and so used to do it like this," but you don't like that idea, or you don't kind of get what they're talking about, just kind of make it clear in your head how you want to do it, and it won't be perfect to start with. And you'll go, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I forgot to take this name or that name. But it's okay, because as long as you have kind of a good contact at the school, like the librarian or somebody, and they can help you. So if you kind of like, if you forget to take somebody's email address, or you've lost a name of a child, then they can help you. I do it all the time. When I've ordered a book for somebody and I've forgotten the name or something, they can chase things up for you. You don't want them to chase things up for you, particularly, but if you mess it up, then they will. Okay, so just get it in your head how you want to run it. I've been doing book fairs for nearly 8 years, 7.5 years probably. Yeah, 7.5 years. And I kind of feel I haven't perfected them, but I feel I know what I'm doing in different kinds of situations. Okay. Oh, how do I move on? My slide. Oh, like that. Okay, so before the event, so do you have a school contact person? Okay. With us here, it's often the librarian. Actually, it's always the librarian with me, but it can be the English teacher, the literacy lead, or somebody that you have as a middle person to coordinate with. Um, then get the date in the diary. Is it 1 day? Is it 2 days? Is it more? What is it? Is it going to be like parent teacher conferences, like or parent evening, that kind of a book fair, or is it going to be a book fair where kids all come down in their classes? And you need to run them a little bit differently. Yeah, you do need to run them a little bit differently. Parent teacher conferences, parents' evenings can be a little less frenetic, and school book fairs are a little more full on, and you can be a bit exhausted. But if you're organised and it goes tack, 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 then it works really smoothly. Okay, so work out how you're going to, what the days are, what your timings are going to be, and send a poster to the school. So the school will put posters up, um, and I also send a flyer now, because there's quite a lot of turnover in schools with teachers as well as kids. But I always send a little flyer that they can put in their newsletter, and I just say a little bit about me. I say, oh, I'm Nikki. I've been running book fairs for 7 years or whatever. Something about English books, and they get free books for their school, something like this. Can't actually remember what I say. Oh, and I have a little link as well. I have a little QR code and link to all my socials and website and whatever. Okay. Yeah, so decide how you're going to run it. Look at the school time. When does the school day start? Are there after school activities? So kids are going to be hanging around after school. Is there a before school kind of time? When is the earliest you can get in? just kind of make a plan. Is it a one day? So, for example, I have a one day book fair on Thursday. So I'm going up super early in the morning. If it was a 2 day one, I'd probably go up a bit later because I know it was 2 days. But if it's only one day, and it's one that they've planned because it's running through parent teacher conferences, so it's a set time. So, but when they do parent evenings, it's always going to be a set time for that. So that's kind of a non-negotiable. But if it's with students, and it's a bit more, you can negotiate when you do this. Okay, so do what suits you. Before school's quite good if you can get, if kids are allowed in school early, or if parents can come in early, and doing after school can be quite good if parents are allowed to come in after school, particularly with kids who didn't bring any money during the day or something like this. So just kind of have a bit of a plan, work it out with your person in charge, like not, but the person you're doing it with. Then you need to check lots of things like can you bring your car close to the school to unload? Okay, so this is really quite important because unless you're Superman with really strong arms, it can be quite hard work, and you do get really hot and sweaty. So if you bring to work out the logistics for this, if you can bring your car close, do you have to then move it somewhere else to park? Can they provide a trolley for you? Most schools can. I do have a trolley, and I do take this to some schools just because it's easier. By the time they found me something, I could have set up. So it's kind of, if you don't have a trolley, then ask and they'll provide you one, I'm sure. A wish list template as well for kids. Just if kids come, they haven't brought any money, they just send something home. I wanted this book at the book fair. I didn't have it. It costs X amount of money. Okay. This is what Alison does. And she's very clever and smart. She prepares an invoice template for the teachers. And I have, you sometimes get teachers asking for an invoice because they want to get reimbursed for taxes. And I do get asked this as well. But unlike Alison, I don't really have anything prepared. I kind of do, but I take the details and I do it all later. We have price conversion charts because we're in euros. I have lots of them ready, and just have lots of, you just got all your these kind of things, EC, which is like debit card thing. I have signs like this at the school. So I just have lots of little signs and things around that I have up, and I kind of get all that done beforehand. So it's just preparing everything, just getting the logistics sorted. The day before, get everything ready and load into your car. Okay, so the books, are you sending, as we're doing books from stock, it means that you've got, could we have a bit quiet, please?
Sorry, I got stuck.
Sorry, can you hear? She's just built herself an IKEA Billy bookcase.
Oh, I'm famous now.
Yes, you're famous now, and now she's throwing the cardboard boxes down the stairs. So yeah, with your book, are you taking the books with you to the school, or are you having all the books sent to the school so they're there when you arrive, so you don't have to take them all in your car? So think about things like that. What works best for you, depending on how far away the school is from you, or just for your storage space at home. Do you need to have? Is it easier to send books straight to school? I generally have everything at home, but I do send some stuff to school. If it's at home, I pack things so that when I unpack them, so when I unpack things, it's kind of their group. So it doesn't always work, but I try and have like early years books in boxes together. I have fiction all kind of together, so I can just take them out and put them, and things like this. And I have special offer stickers. I got little fluorescent. I'll show you. I've got these little fluorescent thingies. Here we go. That I stick. That just says new releases, but that I stick on with prices on, with special offers, or if there's a damaged book or something, I stick those on. Just so everything's kind of organised. So the books are organised, and then. Think about the display accessories, book racks. You don't have to have book racks. They're a pain in the butt. They bite you. They're horrible to pick and carry, and they take a lot of space up in the car. I've got 4 that fit in the car with books, along with books. I couldn't have any others. But you don't need a book. You don't necessarily need book racks. But if you've got any other shelving or boxes, the small boxes are quite good. If you've got small plastic boxes that you can stand books up in, they're quite good. And you can carry books in as well. I've also got these, which are like little flat pack. I don't know, they're for clothes and
They're
stuff.
from IKEA, aren't they? Yeah, to sort your drawers out.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And I saw them actually when I went to IKEA this afternoon to get Katie this Billy book reel, what's a book reel? Bookcase. I saw some of these and I was like, oh yeah, that's what you get. And they're really good because they go flat and fiction books stand up completely in them. Like, so you can put and the reading program book, and they're really good and they flat pack. So yeah, they're quite good. I get tablecloths. I do think tables look so much better if they've got a tablecloth on them. Even if you have, like, so I've got bed sheets actually. I've got flat bed sheets from IKEA. I've got 6 or 7 of them, and they're all different colours. There's nothing posh and fancy. They're all different colours, and they're just, yeah, they were cheap years ago. I don't think you can even buy them flat bed sheets from IKEA anymore. Or even if you've just got a roll of paper or something, but it just looks better than just a plain table. And then any banners, signs, posters. I've got lots of postery things. And I've also got a pull-up banner that I have, and a banner that goes on the front that I put at the front of the school, but I don't use it always. It depends on the school, because it depends whether you can put anything there. And bags, if you've got paper bags to take to, I don't give a paper bag with every book. So when people buy a book, I say, would you like a bag? And a lot of them say no. But I always have bags, and I get them from Amazon actually. And I think our Usborne ones, I think they've become poorer quality. They rip. Has anybody got Usborne ones? I think they rip more. If you put like something bigger in them, it will rip down the side. I get some from Amazon and they're really good. I don't really want to support Amazon, but there we go. Then I have then we've got another box. Then I have another bag with all the business stuff in. So I've got a cash box. Actually, depend again. If it's a big book, if it's a book fair with kids, I have a cash box because it's easy to see where all the money is, and lots of change. I have my card, my iZettle, which doesn't stay charged anymore, so for a whole day. So I've got to make sure I take a charging cable. Do know how it works beforehand. So, and if you've changed phones or upgraded or something, just make sure you can do it and it works. And then you charge your phone, laptop. So I have a laptop that I use with a barcode scanner, and I have a fancy dancy spreadsheet, which I use to take sales in. But you take however you want, take sales however you want. Handwrite it, do it on a spreadsheet, do it how you want to do it, okay? Don't forget all your charging cables, and don't leave them at the school either, which I have done in the past too. And then I have an A4 folder. This one, whoops. I've got an A4 folder with all the bits and pieces in. So it's got my labels. I've got lots of sheets in, my price conversion, and I just have everything in here. And I just have loads of and I have bits of paper as well to take notes on. And I don't do free prize draw slips actually, because they don't really work here. I just have this. And this says, please add me to your mailing list. Hardly anybody uses it at school book fairs, particularly when you've got the kids out, nobody uses it. But sometimes a parent will come and look at it, but I have everything out, okay? I have a pencil case with blue tack, scissors, string, paper tape, marker pen, normal pen, sellotape, anything that can kind of, I suppose if you're doing an event that you can kind of stick things up, that you don't want to have to go and harass the librarian for a roll of sellotape because you forgot yours. Okay, and then I take a water bottle and snacks and lunch. Sometimes I get given lunch and snacks, but I don't want to rely on it because it doesn't always work. Okay, and then on the day, are you rocking? So I pack everything the day before. Are you rocking up with a car full of books, or do you have the books sent directly to the school? Either way, give yourself at least an hour. Alistair gives herself 2 hours. I make sure I have at least 1 hour to unload and get everything to the book fair. Park your car before setting up. Okay, and you do want to try and do this without becoming a sweaty mess. So the more time you do have, the better. Okay, and know where you're going. Okay. Before you start setting up, I always go to the toilet as soon as I get there, because I know that as soon as you start doing something, your opportunity for going to the loo will have passed. It's true, isn't it? I'll at least find out where the toilet is. And I always make sure you get the Wi-Fi code. Again, something that took me, I'd always forget to do this. And I'd get like, oh, I forgot the Wi-Fi code. I'm doing everything on mobile data. And then eventually I'd get it. I'd ask someone to go and find it for me. So I always get the Wi-Fi code and log in before you start. Check you've got enough tables. I always have about 6 to 8. Alison said the same. She has about 6 to 8. But again, it's dependent on how big the school is, how much space you've got. It's just, yeah, the one school I go to that I do tons of sales. Lucy came to me with this one, and I have the tiniest space, and I probably have the equivalent of three big tables. That's all I have, and it's in a corner. But it works because you make it work, and you have things in boxes on the floor. It works. So it's not all about having a massive space. Obviously, it's lovely having a massive space, but it doesn't always work like that. And then if it's one where kids are coming down, make sure you've got a schedule of all the classes coming, so you know when the first lot of kids are coming down. I don't always get given this straight away. It's kind of a bit kind of guesswork, but if you have it, it's quite good. Then you can tick and see who's come. So setting up, when I empty the car, I get all my banners and, well, actually, I don't always get all the banners and posted up. I get the outside ones, the ones that you need to put outside to remind everybody when they're walking into school. Get those up first. And then I always organise my cash desk so that if people do come early, then at least you can take money. It took me quite a long time to work this out, and I'd be then being a big sweaty mess, and I'd have cash in my pockets, and I didn't have a clue where anything was. And so get your cash desk set up first, and then even if the books are in boxes, somebody can go into a box, take a book out. Can we have this one? Yeah, and then you can, and then you're all organised, and you can, you look a bit less like a sweaty mess. Okay, and then I start setting the books up, which is actually the best thing. So once I've got everything else sorted, once the banners are up, I've got the Wi-Fi, and I'm all set up, and then I start taking the books out, and then I kind of relax a bit. I didn't used to, because I used to get a bit stressed and think, oh, I can't do any of this until all the books are out. But it's like, that's okay. I will get all the books out, but if people come early, particularly, if they come before school or before you properly open, it's okay. I don't mind. Okay. So, oh yeah. And so, I just, when I set books out, I tend to, when I organise books, I don't know, did I get this on the next one? Oh yes, I did it on the next slide. I do a different table for each book, but again, it depends on what space you've got. So I tend to put all the fiction, including the reading programmes, all together. 24 hours books are one of the most popular books, and I always put these with the graphic novels, and they're brilliant. All the fictiony ones together, they actually take up quite a lot of room. And then you put the non-fiction, and then you put all this stuff out, and you go, oh God, I got too many books, I've got enough tables, but you make it work, and it works. And then I quite often have all magic paintings stood up in a box. I quite often have all sticker books all stood in a box. So when books are stood in boxes, you're not taking up quite so much table space. So if you're not completely set up before the first classes come, it's that I have let kids rummage in boxes, like, oh, I'm not quite ready, you've all come down, yeah, have a look in here, these good ones are good for you. And it's all very kind of, if you're relaxed, they can be a bit more relaxed. Hold on, I'll let Hayley in.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
If you're relaxed, and they can be a bit more relaxed. But again, it kind of, you need to become confident with it. I think I'm a teacher as well, so that I think can make it quite a lot easier, because you kind of know what to expect. But if you're not a teacher and you're not used to school situations, it can be quite daunting. So think about your own level of comfort zone. If you're not comfortable with people coming rummaging in your books, then get there a bit earlier. But sometimes you just can't. Sometimes it's like you cannot come early because the school's not open, for example. Okay.
If you have 2 days, Nikki, then I would say start at 10 on the first day. That gives you, you
Yeah.
show up at 8 or 8:30 whenever the school opens, and then you have those 2 hours to just get yourself sorted, do all those things that Nikki said, and then tell the librarian, whoever who's making the schedule, that you can have the first class come down at 10.
Yeah, that's true actually. I've done that before when I've done that, but it's the 1 day ones that are a bit more tight for time, isn't it? But yes, I've done that, and it does make it easier because you're not rushing first thing in the morning, because give yourself what time you have. If it takes you a long time to get there, or if you just can't do it because you've got kids drop off or whatever, then make it work for you. Don't, just because something starts, says she who's going to somewhere on Thursday, oh, we starting at 8:30. I'm like, oh, I'll be there. I'm like thinking, what am I doing? I'm too early. I can't do it. I will do, but I was kind of dumb because I'm like, yeah, all right then, whatever. And then thought, probably should have gone an hour later, but anyway, that's fine. But yeah, make it work for you. On the day, how are you working the free book? So running a book fair from stock, a lot of people find it's like, well, how does the free books work? And I got a whole little thing at the end which shows you how the free books work. It works. Trust me, it works. Are they going to choose some book? Who's choosing books for free books? Because what I like to do, I love to say to the Lee at the end, here take some of my stock as free books. It's less for me to pack up, but it all depends what they want to do. So quite often the librarian or whoever the person you're working with wants to take total charge of the free books. But I've had teachers come down as well. Oh, I like this, and then they'll write a list of the books that they like as well. And then I said, well, leave it with me or give it to the librarian, and then they can kind of organise it. Depends how they want to organise it. Or do you not want to get rid of any, when you've sold your books, do you not want any of the books going for free book? Because you need books for another book fair tomorrow, for example, and you don't want all the teachers taking all the books. Or maybe, that they're like, oh, we'll think about it, we'll come back, and 3 weeks later they come back with their free book list, and that's fine. It's just kind of how they want to do it, how you're happy doing it as well. I do it differently in different places depending on the school, depending on the staff. Then you got during the book fair, so student book fairs. So it does need to be structured, or it will be exhausting. So schedule each class that's visiting you. The teachers generally schedule this. I don't ever have any input in this at all, but I say they'd have like a 20-30 minute slot. And then when a class comes down, I have a quick introduction to them. My name's Nikki. I'm like a bookshop. They're all for sale. Please take care handling them. Don't open all the flaps. And then I ask who's got money and who doesn't have money. So if you've got a book, you can take a book that you want, and you come to me and pay. And I also explained about price conversion as well. Show them the sheet that I have. And then some kids will say, oh, I haven't got any money today. So if kids don't have money today, depending on the school and things, we do things differently. I have a school where I will say, okay, so this is your class box. If you haven't got money today and you found a book that you would like, and you will bring money tomorrow, you can put this book in the box. The first time I did this, I was incredibly nervous. However, it's amazing. At the end of the second day, I had about 5 books left. So this is a school that I know that the majority of kids will bring money the next day. And if a teacher says, don't hold that book back, they go on the bus, or they're not going to bring anything, then afterwards I just put it back in the pile of books. Alison doesn't do this. She just says, oh, well, we have to bring some money tomorrow, and if it's gone, it's gone, but you can order it. And Yeah, I have done this too. It depending. Um, so so if there's books, that kids want, and there aren't enough, or they want one in particular, of course you've got every single one under the sun except that one book, then I do order them, and I do have a few orders going. I always okay. So going back. Yeah, and then I a little wish list to ask money for parents. So I do this too, and I have a little, and it's just a tiny little slip of paper where they just write the name of the book they want and how much it costs just to take home, and then they can bring the money tomorrow. Parent teacher conferences or parent evening book fairs, I find these a lot easier. Not easier, less frenetic. They are kind of easier in some ways. They're less frenetic than classes coming, as there are people milling about, coming in between, before and after appointments. So you're not kind of sticking to the schedule of classes coming down. I do have, actually, one thing I did forget is you need different books. Forgot to add this on. You need different books for the parent evening ones, because they will buy slightly different books to the kids. So the kids will tend to buy the cheaper ones and all the fiction, Billy and the Mini Monsters and Magic Painting. But for parents, they buy those as well when they come with their kids. But they will also buy the more expensive ones. They will buy more illustrated ones, or the workbooks, which of course aren't expensive, but they're interested in the workbook ones, the learning maths and English, practicing reading, writing, dictionaries, that kind of the slightly upgraded thing. Complete Shakespeare, for example. A parent will buy that, whereas a child will probably not buy Complete Shakespeare, but a parent will. So yes, that's the thing. Think about what stock you want to take for the differences between parent-teacher conference. So we have parent-teacher conferences here, but I know in the UK it's more like just parent evenings, isn't it? But think about the different. So you can take more expensive ones for parent ones because they will buy more of that. I have a not for student book fairs, but I have a reserve now, pay later box. So if parents are coming, because they always think that all the good books are going to go, so they kind of rush in first and they fill up their bag with books, and then they'll say, "Oh, I've got an appointment now. Can I leave these here?" I say, "Yes, come back." So they, and I say that, or they've paid for books and maybe they've bought something heavy and they don't want to carry it around, so I just wrote paid on it with their name and leave it in a box. So that's what I do. Parent evening stuff.
Good night, people.
Good night.
Good night, big girl.
People parents will pay with card more than cash. Obviously, kids come with more cash. Parents tend to come with card. Except, the parents who, I left my bag in the car, I forgot my purse, or whatever. And then, it's up to you if they want to buy stuff, it's up to you how you do it. I'll offer PayPal. I don't advertise it, but I'll offer PayPal. And then, they've got their watch, they just flash it on my thingy. And, that works. And then it's instant, isn't it? And I've also got I also do little slips where I put thank you. I can't remember what I put. It's like, thank you for transferring X amount of money to, and then I've got my bank details. So I give them that, and then I take their email as well. And I am happy to do that when it's all connected to a school, because I know that if they don't pay me, the school can chase them. I wouldn't do that in like a random event because you'd never find them. But for school, I will do that. So, and then kind of at the end, I sort out books. I sort out any books that the school would like. If they have said, like, "Oh, if this is still available at the end, can we take it?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then, but I make sure I write it down on my free books so that they're getting the free books. I pack up, load my car. Don't forget any of your banners that might be outside. I do have a roll-up banner that I have got If found at MIS, please return to Nikki Powell on this number, because I've left it there so many times, because it's often, it's not the way I walk out, and it's often dark, and then I just go home and I'm like, oh, I've left my ballot there again. So, no, but once, if you go to schools regularly, they get to know you, and they get to know what, you leave your banner behind or whatever. Yeah, and then I like to leave my empty boxes there, and they'll usually get taken away. Sometimes I'll take a good one back with me. Yeah, and then after the book fair, I email a thank you with a poster telling how many free books the school has earned. And then I get to coordinating the free books with the librarian. And quite often I do this. I use a Google, not a form, sheet. I use a Google sheet, and I have one. In fact, I could share it with you. I'll share it for you in a minute, actually. I'll show you my Google sheet like you do. And that's quite good because they can write down what they want, and I can then put out of stock, ordered, ready to deliver, or whatever, and then they can keep adding, and they can write notes for me as well. That's quite a good way of doing stuff. And then if there are any student book orders, I do that as soon as possible because I don't like kids waiting. So I do that. And I know Alison sends the student orders straight to school. I generally, it depends actually. It depends where the school is. It depends how many orders there are. Okay. Right. Now, some of you are probably thinking, how do you do this? Stock, free books from stock. Now, this is something that one of my teammates who's not doing Usborne anymore did for me a while ago, because I'm not very good at explaining this. So free books from stock. So imagine you place £1,000 order, you're paying £1,000 minus commission. You get 600 free books on this order. Okay, do not separate free books from books that you've bought in your order. Don't think that was a free book, I didn't pay for that, that was a half price book. It's all books, it's just all books, and they're all whatever price it is. Okay, then imagine you sell everything at the book fair, so you go home with 1,600 cash in your pocket. School needs 60% of that, so they get 916 free books. Obviously you're never going to get exactly these amounts, but you get the idea. Then you can place a school order for 600, because that's your minimum for school order. You pay 600, and then you get 360 free books with this order. So you've paid out £1,000 plus 600, and you've sold 1,600. So school got 960 of free books. Obviously, it's never going to be quite that clean cut, but as long as you are putting, if the school earns 60% in free books, as long as you put another 60% order in, you're going to be okay. If you put a 30% order in just to get them free books, you're going to lose out. So if some of this goes for your stock, then it goes for your stock as well. The problem, obviously, is doing this order and then ending up with a whole load of books for your stock, and then your stock keeps building, which is good actually. If your stock keeps building, it's good. But you've got to have this whole forecast to stock thing. You've got to know you need to know when to stop and kind of slow down a bit. You don't even want to see my stock at the moment. Probably don't want to see Alison's either. So it does work. It does work out. And the first book fair I ever did, it was in the days when, in fact, I'm going to stop sharing now so I can see all your lovely face. There you go. The first book fair I ever did, it was when we had to place 6 £120 orders or £100 orders, and I was only getting 20% on these orders, and I was thinking, how am I going to get them 60% if I was doing 20%? And I'm pretty sure that first book fair, I didn't really, it was a bit like, I don't even want to know. But it all worked out because then it built up, and then I got some, it worked out better the next time because then I did a proper 60%. But if if, for example, it doesn't matter now because we can do these school orders right from the beginning, so we're getting a 60%. But I think as long as you're doing a 60% order, I think you're okay. But keep records. I keep accounts. I look at what I've spent on everything, and I also look at hold on. I take into account if I've gone a long way. If I've driven quite a long way, I take into account some of that as well. So, but it balances out because I'll always put 60% order in. So if I do a kindergarten and they get 30% of books, they get it from a stock, which I've probably got from 60% books. So yeah, but as long as you keep good accounts and and you know what you're doing, you can follow it okay. Have I missed anything? Are there any questions? I was so worried about running over. I whizzed through that so quickly. I thought, I'm going to be.
I've upgraded. We
So-
won't get cut off at 45 minutes. After last week, I've pushed the boat out and upgraded so we can have an unlimited training sessions now.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, I mean, has anybody got any questions at all? Just kind of.
How do you know which books to kind of buy in quantities? That's my biggest kind of
Right.
I need to do one from stock going forward, and I just don't know which ones I need to buy more than.
Yeah, that was the
Sure.
main bit I missed out on, wasn't it? The types of books. So it is tricky. For me, I know that if you're doing a student book fair where the classes come down, I know that magic paintings are always a massive hit. So even if I have tons of magic paintings and they don't all sell, I know they'll sell at the next one because they're always, you can't have too many. Fiction is always good, and I tend to get. I know Alison has all these lovely piles of the same books, and I think I have too many random ones, but I do try and buy like the same copies of certain ones. So ones that I've really enjoyed, like Quiet Storm, for example, which I love.
I'm loving Quiet Storm.
Oh, it's
I recommended it today for somebody that was looking for a book about shyness for her 7-year-old, and I was kind of saying it's not obviously appropriate for your 7-year-old, but as a parent, it would be really useful for you to read it.
I've had similar conversations. So I'll get fiction books that I really like. So I wouldn't feel that you need to buy every single fiction book like I used to feel I needed to buy, because some of them you don't sell. So, I mean, you do sell them, but you sell the ones that you think are good because people ask for recommendations. So this is another thing I do as well, actually. Again, I forgot until just now. Look, I've got all these pages that I printed out. Did I look at them once? No, of course I didn't. But another thing I forgot, I did task myself with reading all the fiction books. Obviously not all at once. But it was a few years ago, and a neighbour asked about young adult fiction and would they be okay for her? And she's German. And I said, I don't know, I haven't read any. And I felt a bit stupid, really. So that's when I started reading the YA books. And then I started reading the middle grade. And it's good. So I do try and read them because I do think it's helpful. But obviously, you don't have time to read them all. But read some reviews or ask me, and I can tell you. But so I tend to say with fiction books, I tend to get books that I like. I tend to get some very boy oriented books as well. So there aren't, because they are never girls. Yeah, the girls read a much wider range generally. So the boys stick quite more narrow. So for boys, I'll always have Alex Neptune, 21% Monster, Kick, Scavengers.
Shadow Chase. Well, it's out of stock, but League of Thieves.
All the League of Thieves, Shadow Chaser, Cursebreaker, those ones. The girls like them too, actually. And then for younger ones, I have loads and loads of Billy the Mini Monsters. Billy the Mini Monsters is the way to go. Anisha's good. And I always have, if there's a series, I'll always have like, say 3 or 4 copies of number 1, and then maybe 1 or 2 of the others. And then I always, the 24 hours in the series is so amazingly popular. I've been pushing that that series. I'm not really pushing it, but I've been going, this is really cool. You know, people, when kids come up and say, oh, graphic novels, where are your comic books? And suddenly you've got really low on Dracula and everything. And then you've got the 24 hours in, and I set them up next to the other ones as well. And they are so popular. I've sold so many of them. Yeah, and the younger, yeah, so I'll have younger, yeah, so it's fiction. Fiction's the big thing, I think, for schools. Fiction and some activity books. And then a few random ones. They like, you know, the creative writing ones, some of them, and you know, how to write a poem or, you know. Oh, spying. Can't go wrong with spying. Football, but the spying one is good. And I always have a few new ones. So I look back to when I last did a book fair and think, okay, what's new since then? And then get newer ones. See, in England,
Inside. I sell more like See Inside Your Body. I can't, and See Inside the War one, See Inside Second World War.
oh yes,
Always have
again.
the World Wars, the £20 one. I always sell at least one copy of that at every book fair, and it's £20.
Yeah. I was going to say I always have one of those, and I forgot to put it on my order. Those World Wars body ones are good. But actually, people buy what you've got. But when students have come down, they want the fiction ones. And actually, I tell you what else are good: the minis. The mini spy books are good. You know, kids who haven't got that much money. I get some of the mini ones as well, and they like those. And I'll often put on. Didn't say this either. I'll often put books on a special offer that I didn't buy on special offer, but I've bought other books on special offer that I'm not like. There are some that you buy three, don't you? There's like random 3 books as a special offer together, or like the Worry. Is it the Worry and Hurry Magic Painting? 2 together, special offer. I don't sell them as 2 as a special offer because kids won't buy those 2 books. So I've kind of, I then will put Billy on as a special offer, and I'd make it a little bit cheaper. And Magic Painting are, depending on the schools. It depends on the school. I'll put on as a special offer, and the kids go, oh yeah, this is good. I like that. You know they like them, so they want to buy the cheaper ones. But so even though I've bought them full, a lot of them, some of them have been special, but even though I've bought them full price, I know it evens out because I've bought other special offers that I'm not offering special offer. Do you get what I mean? And I do that really for the student book fairs because it's the student, because they want that, but I don't do it for the parent-teacher conferences. They can all have it full price. So I do. Yeah, I do. I kind of get a big mixture, but I'm always make sure I have lots of fiction, lots of graphics, lots of magic paintings. Always a wind-up, even at school book fair. The kids don't buy them, but you know the parent might come. Yeah.
And some younger books I take. So I like today I sold a Lights and Sound Christmas. I obviously sold a fairy wand book. Because most, if they're 5-6-year-olds, they're going to have possibly a sibling of 2-3-year-old. So I always take a box full of kind of younger baby books.
I always take a box of younger books.
Yeah.
And then I always have a few YA books as well. I always take a small box of YA books, and I make it clear that these are teenage fiction books, particularly if it's just primary school kids coming in. But also because remember, teachers come down, and teachers have also got kids, and they've got little kids. Some of them have got big kids too. And actually, somebody the other day said to me, she goes, "Oh, thanks so much for recommending that book. My daughter loved it." And I'm like, "Which book was that?" I remember she came down the day before, and I was chatting to her, and I think her daughter was like 14 or 15. I think it might have been Bad Influence, actually, because that's another one of my favourite books, is Bad Influence. And I'm pretty sure it was. And yeah, so just having a few older books as well, younger and older ones. Yeah. What else?
I haven't got any questions.
Anybody else? Anybody got any questions?
You can type them in the chat if you.
Yeah, type them in chat if you don't want to talk.
I've got a question, Nikki.
Go on then.
Hello.
You were talking about people buying what's there. Do you tend to find that they do just buy what's there, or are they going to ask you lots of questions, recommendations?
They do buy what's there. They will ask you recommendations, and if you're not entirely sure, say, actually, I'm quite new at this, but I can find out, and then just send me a quick message.
Okay.
But they
Cool.
do. And sometimes people are looking for a particular book and they'll go, have you got that? And they'll have taken a screenshot or a photo from the website and you'll go, oh yeah, because that's the one book I don't have, isn't it? Because it's always the way. And then just say, I'm sorry, I don't have it, but I can order it for you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask as well. Like, will they have looked online beforehand and said, have you
Some
got this
do,
book?
some haven't got a clue, or some just, a lot of them are lazy. They just want to buy, they're busy, they're lazy, they don't read stuff. They just want to rock up and buy a book or two or three. So they do, and that's what they want to do, and they will just buy what they see. And the kids just want to buy a book because they just want a book, which is lovely. So, so yeah, and if so, there will always be something that somebody that you don't have, or like you suddenly panic. I was like, oh, I've only got one Alex Neptune left. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? 100 things to know books. There, sorry, I've just suddenly realised the non-fiction ones. I always have 100 things to know books as well. They're always really popular. Yeah. What else?
The parents, they are lazy. They don't look ahead of time usually. They usually just look at what's there. And also, a lot of them don't realize it's only Osborne published things. So they come in asking for Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So make sure you have Matt Brown, because I always say if you like them, then you'll like Matt Brown because he's really funny. And Harry Potter, obviously we don't have Harry Potter. So then it's Train to Impossible Places, Book of Stolen Dreams, and what's the other one I like?
That's the drag.
Which one?
Perfect is good. There's a lot of and it's nice.
Oh, the Spectacular. Sorry, the Spectaculars. I recommend that one too.
Oh, the Spectaculars, yeah, they're good too. But also it's nice when you've gone back several times. So like Rachel, you'll be going. Kids will come and they'll go, oh yeah, this was good. So because you're going somewhere that's been used to having Usborne there, then kids will be like, oh yes, I've read this, I've read that, and then you can say, oh, if you've read this, you might want to read this one, or have you read number 2 in the series? Or or sometimes they'll come up and they'll have picked up the second 21% monster, and you'll go, oh, that's the second one. You need to read the first one first. So just kind of know which one's number 1. It doesn't always matter. 21% monster, it does matter. I think 21% monster. I think you need to read them in order.
No, that's luckily I didn't take any orders for it, but I had all 3 there. I wouldn't have. Maybe would have worked it out in colour order.
Haley, you've got your hand raised. Was that
very polite?
I've got a question. It took me ages to find the hand thing. I was like, so my question is, I came late, so sorry I missed the beginning. So you might have already explained this. But if you do orders anyway, the things that you haven't got there, or do extra orders for kids, what's the benefit of selling from stock over just taking orders for them all?
Because they want to take a book away. They want to buy it there and then.
And it's a lot less work. I think that's what they're saying, because I always do ordering. But if they've bought it there and then and gone, you haven't got to sit and do a big order. You haven't got to sit and bag up however many books. So you don't necessarily need the books and things like that. If you're only ordering 4 books for children at that school, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, the ideal bit would be that it was all sell on the day, wouldn't it? And then you kind of come home with a lot less stock and you haven't got to go and deliver it all. And
I don't generally take many orders. I sometimes have 1 or 2, and then because and then I'll think, well, I need to do an order anyway. And even if I haven't got this school's free books, I need to order for, I'm doing a kindergarten and I haven't got enough kindergarten books. And I'll add those 2 books that the kids wanted onto that order, which again will be a 60% order anyway. But I have done it all from orders during COVID. And I thought, flipping it, I'm never again. It's so much work. Because as as Maria said, you've got all these orders coming in, and then you've got to make the order, and then you've got to bag it all up and make sure you've got every child's name on the right thing. Oh, flipping heck, I can't do this. I think it's so much easier rocking out with with a car full of books, but then maybe
I think it's that switch bit. I think that's the bit that I probably Hayley as well, is that nervousness, because I've always done it from orders. I mean, I've got 5 boxfuls at the school because I'm there all week. 5 boxfuls, so I'd have enough stock to do it from.
yeah.
But it's a nervous switch over to doing it from as in selling and having the right books.
I think it's what you used to, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's that switch over. I think if I switched over to it, I'd probably go, right, actually, yeah, this is the way to go.
And
But
if you
because
think,
I've always done it this way, it's getting that switch.
and if you think about all the books that you've had orders for, look at what kids have ordered. Look at what they've ordered. And go,
Yeah,
so okay, so I've got 6 Alex Neptunes. What, you know what? I'm going to get lots of those when I do a stock. There's that kind of thing. You kind of know what they like to know.
But like, say it's World Book Day and you've got like 5 schools in a row. There's no way I could have enough money to buy books for 5 schools. Like, you know what I mean?
And I think this is the tricky thing. Actually, this is where you've got to kind of. It is harder to do, and I know sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just shelling out on all these books, and they're just sitting there. But then if you've got 5 schools, 5 World Book Day events, bang, 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 then you just sell them all. They all get sold. But if you can't afford to shell out in the first place, then don't do it like that.
yeah.
That's because that's going to be even more stressful, isn't it? The fact that you might have stuff sitting around that you can't get rid of. But I know that I can, and it works for me. But I know sometimes
I used to think it was because you're in Europe. I thought it worked better for you guys over there. But actually, when you speak to others in the UK that do big schools, they're doing it from stock as well now, and it's working.
yes.
It's something I kind of want to look into doing, because I think it would save time.
Yeah, I think a lot more people are doing, because at first I used to think it was just a European thing. We all do it from stock, except Ree, who would always do it from stock, and and a few people would have like van loads of stuff, and they haven't got a clue what they've got. But I know what I've got. I've got an inventory, but generally, I do think there's more people in the UK doing it from stock now as well, but do people take note of what they sell? Like, I talk to people. How do you keep records? Oh, I don't.
Yeah.
I just add it up. I just sell it. So they haven't got a clue. But they've got a clue the amount, but not the actual books. Whereas I know all the books that have gone in and that have gone out, because I can see on my fancy dancy spreadsheet. And but some people don't worry about that. They just like, no, I just take the money. I don't need to know what books have gone out. As long as I know I've sold this amount, and then free books. Do you need to know what book? I think you need to know what free books a school has had. So then you can, because then when you've got a dippy librarian, like one of my librarians is very dippy. Oh, have we got that? And then I'll like, yeah, you've got that one. Oh, okay then. So, but I can tell what she's got. I can see that this is what she put on her last free book thing, and then this free book thing, she's doing the same. Like, I think you need to get the next one or whatever. So that's quite So I keep records of things, but I know people who just keep records of like the total. I don't know. Do you keep records, Maria, of how of what books?
Well, obviously, because I'm doing orders, so I've got my orders. But when I do a stall, I don't.
No, exactly.
I will just kind of pack up and have enough rough idea that I sold out of lights and sounds, and I need to restock them, or I've got that. No, that's not my. Or don't tickles left. So I kind of know I've got to restock those, but I couldn't tell you every single book I sold at a stall.
I take photos of every book I sell at a store.
Do you?
So
Yeah.
like as if I'm scanning it, I do the back, like as if I'm scanning the barcode, I take a picture of the back of everything so I know what I've sold and how much I've sold it for, and then add it all up at the end. Make
Oh,
sure it all
really? Oh, so
not at big fairs, obviously. I take orders at big fairs, so I've
Yeah.
got the slips and I put them on a spreadsheet and everything, but at stalls I don't do that.
Okay, I always find it really interesting how people do the money and take everything, because when I went to my first book fair with Susan, and, and it was a World Book Day, and there was a massive line of kids waiting to pay, and she had a clipboard and A4 paper, and she's writing everything down, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like so. And it was just all this massive queue of kids, and it was just awful because I was like, ah. And then I did it the following week. I went to the same school, but it was for parents then. So I was like, will they buy books because the kids just bought books? Yes, because you take different ones. She said, right, okay. And I did. And I was writing things down. And I thought, why am I writing all this down? This is silly. Do I need to write it all down? And then we devised the fancy dancy spreadsheet. The royal we, Matt, devised the fancy spreadsheet. And I feel a bit more professional, but I know people do it on their, like, if you have your Zettel or your Sum Up, then you can put it all on there, can't you?
Yeah, but I think, God, that'll take so long.
I remember George doing that, didn't she?
If she possibly still does, but I just think it's what's the big deal of it? I know what books I need. If I haven't got them, I order them in.
Yeah.
If I've got it, they'll buy something else.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I've got probably 10 books that I like to know that I've got. Like I will have a Don't Tickle, I'll have a See Inside. So I've got kind of 10 books that are core to my must-have because I know I'll sell it.
Yeah.
The rest are like new titles or, new. Yeah.
I always take the newest titles to schools that I've got.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you can add, Alison, do you think?
No, I think you've done pretty well.
Oh, thanks.
I
I just do it.
I think the biggest thing is that because we're in Europe, like it can take up to 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks if the books get stuck.
Your delivery, yeah.
So it really doesn't make sense for us to do an order for school.
to have it, yeah.
So much faster. Like, you order something on Amazon, it shows up in 2 days. Like that order system does not work here because
so that's a really good point, Alison. And actually for us, we're so much quicker now than we used to be. Like we can have our books within 3-4 days now, so that's a lot quicker. If we were doing more than one book fair in a week, you could potentially get the stock back in.
Yeah, and I think if a school is used to doing a book fair from stock, to go to orders is just awful. And if you're used to doing a book fair from orders, then why change? If you like it and it works for you,
yeah,
you have to change it. It's like don't fix if it's not broken, kind of thing. But I do think here you do need to do it from. Also here, we have a lot of non-native speakers, which I think in the UK you probably have more now in certain areas. But the non-native speakers want to see the books because they don't know what they're buying. It's not like, you can't see what a book's like on Amazon, can you?
Yeah.
Not really. And so they want to see what they're buying. So I think parents particularly like that. And the parents like the fact that the kids can come to school and buy an English book. So I think that is in our favour here for sure. But I think, the whole switch from orders to stock.
I think I'm still traumatized from when I was pregnant with Jack, and I went into labour at that book fair. But at that book fair, there was a child who wanted a particular book that had got sold, and screamed and cried, and it broke my heart, and also really annoyed me. And I've never quite got over that trauma. I'm worried that's going to happen in the future.
Right, yeah.
I've never had a swimming child in my whole year.
She wanted to take it away today and didn't want to order it, so was kind of like then crying because she wanted to take that book away with her today instead of having to order it. So I guess
I just let them if they're like that. I just let them. I'm just like, okay, just don't tell anyone. Just take it and go.
I know, but it's usually one of your ones that everybody orders. Like Chris, the sticker Nutcracker sticker dolly, I'm selling loads of. That's my most popular sticker. I
Okay.
had it in my new titles pack, and at my book fair on Friday, loads ordered. Again today, ordered.
Okay. I've only had one copy or two copies of that, and I sold both of them, and I've got a few more.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting.
Yeah, I think people do like new titles, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Can I ask another question?
Yes, Hayley.
Sorry. Do you think you can have too much choice?
Yes.
I take like 5 big tables worth of books and
Yeah.
they're all different. Do you think it's just giving you too much choice?
I went into Waterstones. I was in England last week, and I went into Waterstones. I'm like, oh my god, it's so overwhelming. And then people come to my tables and they get overwhelmed. But yeah, you're right. You can have too much, and I probably do. But I think it's far less overwhelming than going into a massive bookshop. Like I was completely overwhelmed in Waterstones. So
But Hayley, if you've got that much stock to fill that many tables, you'd probably be able to switch over now and go into selling.
People always
stock.
want the same thing, and I don't know what they're going to want, so it's too scary.
Well,
No,
no,
but if
but-
it's gone, they
Five
can't
of
see it,
everything.
can they? That's what I kind of trying to think. Is if somebody's bought it and it's gone, the next person's not going to see it.
I had to get over this. I went to a book fair once. In fact, it's the same school that I'm going to on Thursday, and it was and I went, oh, I forgot to order any wipe cleans. Completely forgot the wipe cleans, and I had this real panic because I have wipe cleans. I'm like, but why? Nobody knew that I was missing them because there were none there at all. So, and sometimes you think, God, I forgot to do this. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I went to book last time, summer. I forgot one box got left upstairs. Forgot to put it in the car. I blame Matt. It had all the 100 things to know and like the 4 beginners ones in, and I was like, oh crap. And I think one of the teachers just kind of printed out a picture of it, and I said I'll bring them tomorrow. It was fine. Nobody wanted them anyway. Oh, the beginners books are really popular as well, aren't they?
Yeah, but I wonder whether it's Europe. I don't
Yeah.
sell them.
You
Although
don't you?
Ecology, for some bizarre reason, I've had orders for 3 of them, but otherwise they don't tend to. They're not so popular here.
I think it really is kind of, you do have like a personal
And I
favourite.
think it might be the age thing as to what age, like the top end, like year 6 for us are. If yours go up higher than that, then maybe. But yeah,
I didn't mean the 4 beginners. I meant the beginners ones. The small ones.
oh, the small ones. Oh yeah, well yeah, I've got giraffe, sloth, elephant.
Oh, the sloth. Yeah, sloth. Sloth is quite.
You can.
Yeah, no, they're good. But the other ones as well. Actually, you get.
Yeah, but I know you said before you sell lots of them, whereas I
You
just
don't.
don't know.
And I do think you kind of have you do kind of, once you get into it, you kind of know what sells for you.
Yeah.
And I think it does depend on kind of your demographic of where you go. We all live in different. I mean, the thing is, Alison and I are all kind of doing, both of us kind of doing international kind of school, so we're quite similar. Rachel's going to take over one, so that'll be similar. But I do think that it does depend on the school, and you get and I think when kids talk to each other. But even in my schools, there's one school they'll all buy Billy and the Mini Monsters, and another school I'll sell like 2 or 3 of them. So
Yeah, I had that. Friday, no Compton balances at all. Today, can't everybody.
is it?
6
Yeah.
6 different ones, 6 different orders for different Compton balances.
But if you,
It's bizarre, isn't it? It's just
But if you're selling from stock, if all the Compton vouchers have gone and someone comes in, they didn't even know they were there in the first place. Got to remember, they don't even know they were there. So you steer them to something else. And also, if you mix books around, so this is something else I just remembered about. If you mix books about, so because kids come down and they go and it's like a whirlwind and it's a right mess, isn't it, everywhere? So you're tidying up. I love tidying up. I love tidying up, making it all look nice again. But if you move things around and put, some books were stood up in a row, and then you put, okay, I'm going to put them flat now so you can see the cover. Like at bookshops, you have some up and some down, don't you? And change them around a bit, and it does work. They do choose different ones. You think, oh, I want to get rid of that one, so and it works. And so you have to remember, people they buy what you've got. They don't, and if they have the whole, which is why I think sometimes, when sometimes people, the librarians will say, "Oh, have you got a catalogue?" It's nice to peruse through the catalogue, but it's too much, isn't it? A lot of it.
Yeah.
There's just so much to choose from. So yeah.
No, I agree.
I don't know, but I've got the PowerPoint, and I will upload the PowerPoint. In fact, I might add a bit about which book. I might add a couple of things about books to choose on, which I forgot about.
There's a separate guide now for PowerPoint, so add it into that one.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It'll stay at the top of it.
Yeah, I'm just going to add that one little thing in about how do you know which books to choose, because I did forget that.
Okay. Thank you ever so much, Nikki. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to let you all go. But thank you so much for coming. It's really good to have people coming along to trainings. It's really good. So, but yeah, thanks ever so much for putting that together, Nikki. Good luck to everybody that's got book fairs this month.
Yeah.
I've got 3 more this week and then another one next week.
Yeah, you're just
That's why I've got the hot water bottle. My back is like, oh, what have you done today?
So you're in the same school all week, Maria?
I'm at the same school, this week, and then a different school next week. Last time I did it as a book fair where they came and did wish lists. This time they want to do just a parents' evening. But I did 250 tonight in 2 hours. So if we can do that every night, then we'll but yeah.
Parents coming to buy is different than kids coming to buy, for sure. They have different books, and I didn't put that on the PowerPoint, so I will put that in, that they do buy different books. And yet again, I forgot to buy complete Shakespeare, complete Jane Austen, and complete Dickens.
Complete Greek Myths now as well. Have you got that one?
Yeah, I have that one. Yeah, I have that one. I should probably stop recording, shouldn't I? How do you stop recording?